Carol Beagrass. Today I want to share with you a trick that I learned when I was making these for my basket bundles class. I started out cutting the Thanks die, and that comes from the Hello You Thinlits. And these are really nice little words, but they can be kind of a pain when you go to adhere them to the paper. And I started out using glue on the back, but the glue ran past the letters and it got really sticky and gooey and messy. So I thought I had to come up with some kind of idea of how to do it so that I didn't have to deal with that. So I came up with a couple of ideas. The first idea was to use wax paper, and that didn't work all that well. So let me show you what I was going to do. I'm going to use this for my die, and so the idea was that I wanted to go ahead, so I measured how much of the paper was actually, or the cardstock was actually going to be used for the die. I took my adhesive and I ran strips of adhesive all the way across where the die was going to cut. And if there's like a little bit of less than an eighth of an inch gap, that's okay. So after I did that, I tried putting the wax paper on. The wax paper didn't work that well, so I decided there were two other options. I had some waxy paper left from when I do this magnetic sheeting for the dies. It's adhesive magnetic sheeting, so when I pull the paper off the back of the magnetic sheeting, I usually just throw this away. It's waxy on one side and just plain paper on the other side. So I thought, well, why can't I use that? So I put that across the adhesive part of the cardstock that I was going to cut, and then I turned it over and I put my die here, and then I ran it through my Big Shot. Let me go ahead and trim this down so that it'll fit through my Big Shot. So we're going to run this through the Big Shot, and I found that it's best if you use newer flat, clean plates when you do this, so that you don't get so many of the fibers that from the cardstock. Okay, I'm going to run this through. And then this is what we end up with right here. Okay, so that is using the waxy paper, and of course you want to put the waxy side against the adhesive, not the paper side, because then you'll have a big mess. Okay, the other option that you have is to use, and I'll go ahead and move the Big Shot again. The other option is to go ahead and get my adhesive strips on here. If you don't have the waxy paper from Adhesive Magnetics, you can use the waxy paper from your mini glue dots. And how you would do that is you just cover up the adhesive part and get the strips as close together as you can. And then put your die, and I'm going to use a different die because I'm going to use the happy die for this one. Or maybe the hello die because it's smaller. Okay, so I've got my waxy strips there. I'm going to put the die above the waxy strips and run it through the Big Shot. Okay, so I ran it through the Big Shot. So now we have our hello that we did with the leftover waxy strips from the mini glue dots. And we have the thanks where we used the waxy paper from our magnetic sheeting. And when you get ready to remove these, first of all, you can take your piercing tool and remove the pieces that are, and it's kind of, I think, better to push them through this way on the side that has the waxy paper. Okay, here comes the fun part. So we're going to go ahead and use a brush. This is just a flat brush. I'm going to get all those little fibers because there are still some fibers there that stick to your die. You can see all these little fibers. Now here's the fun part. You're going to take, now this is the one with the waxy paper from the magnetic sheeting. You're just going to take your tool here, your piercing tool, and start the paper. And look at that, it just comes like right off. Just like that. Now for this one where we use the mini glue dots, it pretty much comes off the same too, but it comes off in pieces because it was done with several pieces of paper and not just one solid piece of paper. So it takes a little bit longer to get that off. Now to get them out of the die, we can use our wax paper for this. You can use regular wax paper, or you can use, if you have an additional waxy paper from your magnetic sheeting, you can use either one of those. They both work just as well. What you're going to do is you're going to put, I'll use the wax paper because I think it actually has a little more give to it. You're going to go ahead and use your die brush to get it out. Okay, there's our thanks. And then all you need to do is pick it up with your tweezers. And it's so easy to just apply. There's no gooey mess from the glue. It's easy to center. You don't have your letters being pulled apart and misshapen. I just think this is really a great way to save yourself a lot of headache. Now the other thing is if you get those, sometimes when you do a die, these dies, you get little bumps where the die It has these circles in the die, and if there's a little more pressure, you'll see little dots. What you want to do with that is just take a piece of wax paper, put it over the area that has a dot, and just flatten it out with the back of your piercing tool, like that. And then you don't even see the dots anymore. Let's do our little hello. Okay, and then our little hello is ready to adhere to a piece of paper, or your card, the front of your card, whatever you're going to do with it. Well, I hope that this tip is helpful to you. It certainly has been helpful to me. And if you wouldn't mind, check out my blog at www.carolbcrafts.com. Thanks so much and have a great day. Bye now.